The Elite Four have been my nemesis since I was a kid. They felt they could hide in a different franchise, but no. In Palworld, you don't need 8 badges, you can just fight them right away, and that's what I'm gonna do. They're hiding out in towers, and you have 10 minutes to win. First one's the Tower of Rain Syndicate. Zoe and Griswold, 30,550 HP. No problem. I mean, look at this big dumb grin. Boom, 1 down. But just like every other Pokemon game, the Elite Four has 5 members. I saw a tower on a volcano nearby, so I headed straight there. Luckily, I caught myself a Pidgey so I could fly myself to the top. As we went up the volcano, I kept getting distracted by every shiny object there was, and holy crap was it slow. Even the sound of the wings is annoyingly slow. I ended up flying literally the whole day. I needed a faster flying pal. But at least I found an egg at the top. I walked in with confidence from my previous victory. Axel and Orzerk, 130,700 HP. No problem, I thought. Vulpix, cast Flamethrower, I thought. Smacked immediately. That was a lot more health than the first one. I needed to regroup. I did some research on the Elite Four, and it turns out there's a grass type, an electric type, a fire type, and a dark type. Based on the amount of black space on the map, I assumed I'd have to do a lot of traveling. And I wasn't willing to put up with this slow flapping bird, so I set another goal to catch the fastest flying mount in the game. Luckily, that egg I found at the top of the volcano hatched a quick guy, so he'll do for now. To level up, I needed to catch more pals, which means I needed more pal balls, so I could craft more pal balls, or there was a pal that produces pal balls, so I could catch a few of those, put them to work. Great, I had a plan. Now all that was left to do was execute. I did it. Look how pretty this base is. What does this have to do with leveling up, you're asking? Nothing, I got distracted. I needed to refocus on gaining levels. I had enough pal balls and I had enough arrows to hunt the pals. I just needed to put them to good use. I thought it would be more efficient if I had a fast land mount, so I went searching for one. I finally decided the best place for the hot springs. Yeah, I got distracted again. Every time I tried to focus, I got distracted on something random. Hatching eggs for faster flying mounts, beating up lamb for the sport, making more bases. I even hunted the most dangerous game. But all that distraction led me to some super powerful items, an unnecessarily high-level chicken, and I also found some really interesting pals. Seeking a night of love, it is always chasing someone around. Even humans have become the target of its debauchery? I'll take note of that, to avoid it later. I was ready to build my team to defeat the Elite Four. Luckily, my flying mount was the perfect pal to take on the grass tower. 2 birds with 1 stone, am I right? So I headed to the Free Pal Alliance Tower. Lily and Lylene. Say that 5 times fast. Lily and Lylene, 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 Lily and Lylene. I can't do it. 69,375 HP. Alright, let's do this. Now I've defeated 2 members of the Elite Four. The next tower uses an electric type, so I'll need a ground type to defeat it. I headed to the Tomb of Anubis, where an Anubis walks around at the feet of a giant statue of himself. This reminds me of something, but I can't remember what.
Remember me!
Right. Anyway, I found him, I shot him, I caught him. Now I was headed back to where I got embarrassed the first time. The Eternal Pyre Tower. Axel and Orzerk. More like Axel and Orzerk. 130,700 HP. But this time, me and a newbie made quick work of him. No problem. Now we're in luck because for the next tower I need a water type and for the final tower I need a dragon type. But guess what? There's a water/dragon pal sitting in the middle of Lake Rage waiting to be caught. My Electro Doggo made a bold choice to go out to the middle of the water and challenge him. Great swimmer though. With this last pal I should be able to do the final 2 towers. I headed to the Desert Tower, PIDF Tower. Marcus and Phalaris. 146,975 HP. It felt wrong to fight a pal that I use, but not that wrong because I had no problem shooting him straight in the face. Unlike the 3 towers previous, there were a few close calls with this one, but we ended up winning. Now on to the 5th member of the Elite Four, or in Pokemon terms, the champion. As I flew towards the final tower, I started having nightmarish flashbacks of losing to the champion in the past, but not this time. I was fine, because I had Gyarados, right? I finally arrived at the PAL Genetic Research Unit Tower. That's a mouthful. Victor and Shadowbeak, or Riku and Shadowbeak, or 2B and Shadowbeak, or Gojo and Shadowbeak. What's up with blindfolded white-haired characters? I genuinely am curious. If you know, please let me know. 200,750 HP. Ooh, that kind of sounds like a lot. Gyarados got to work, but things weren't going so well. We lost. I think the champion had too much health for me to beat him in 10 minutes. My Gyarados wouldn't cut it. When I respawned, I went to the base where I would go to relax. Something about this base is calming. I don't know. But my confidence was still crushed after the loss, and there was 2 things that might help. First, it might help if you subscribe. And second, finally catching the fastest flying pal in the game, something I've wanted to do since the beginning, that would also boost my confidence. When I looked it up, it turned out to be the answer I'd been looking for. The fastest flying pal was a legendary dragon that lives on the side of a volcano, and I went straight there. But first I had to check on my pal eggs and craft some stuff and explore a little more, but after that, I went straight there. With nothing but a shotgun and air bud. Also, I ended up catching a legendary ice pal and crafting a legendary rocket launcher while I was distracted, so I brought those 2. I caught him on my first try. Where'd he go? Oh, he's up there. I caught him on my second try. What? Not again. Caught him on my 3rd try. I decided to stick to the shotgun this time, and the battle was unironically pretty epic. 2 legendaries, epic music, and of course, an epic finale. I was totally reinvigorated to fight the champion of the Elite Four again, so I went straight there. I went straight there after I went everywhere else. Can you blame me? Do you see how fast this thing is? And when I say I went everywhere, I mean everywhere. I was finally ready to do what I came here to do. I arrived for the rematch of the century against Victor and Shadowbeak. This time I had a legendary dragon and a rocket launcher, but it was still taking forever to whittle this guy down. I was more worried about the 10-minute time limit than dying. The issue is that I had to focus so much on dodging attacks that I could hardly attack myself. Whenever I did take a second to reload, I would almost die. When half the time remained, he was at about half health, so I knew this one would be cutting it close. In the last minute, it was all I could do to avoid the attacks. But when the last 15 seconds were on the clock, I knew I had to make a risky move and come in close for the kill. I weaved through his attacks as best as I could. And with 6 seconds left on the clock, I blew his head clean off. With his work done, my legendary dragon decided to fly away, I guess. Another day, another Elite Four slain. I spent so much time playing Palworld to get that footage. Time well spent, I might add. But to make the time even better spent, I'm gonna start streaming most of the time when I'm recording gameplay footage. I'm pretty new to streaming, but if you wanna see me go from 0 to debatably the greatest streamer of all time, you can check this video out next here. Peace. Lurv.